Today, Celebrity have with us a real live celebrity, a man who has done everything possible on the stage, who's gone from acting 51 films, he's done 32 reality shows, he's done 30 pantomimes, he's been a pop star, rock star, pop idol, sex symbol, sex symbol even.
I'm a sex symbol for women who no longer care.
But he is. So today we are going to have a chat in conversation with Jess. And Jess, actually, after everything you've done, after 65 years in show business.
65 years?
It's 65. I checked it up last year.
65
last week.
Years in show business. Wow.
So, but the one thing is your audiences must have changed.
Yes, I suppose they have, yeah. I mean, I've always had a female following, and women used to faint when they saw me on the street. It was quite amazing.
Wow.
They still faint now, fall down, mainly because they're too old to stand up. My fans have aged with me, you know. It's been quite a journey, really, having a sort of a really great following of the opposite sex has been kind of been my life, really, yeah. Because at school I didn't go to school very often because the war was on, and I used to hop the wag, as they say, and so I didn't go to school an awful lot, but I was very popular with the girls at school. I remember that. And then because later on when I became a teddy boy, that was the thing to do in the 50s. The girls still liked me when I was a teddy boy, and then I became a film extra, and got off with all the female stars that came over from America, and they used to invite me to dinner at the Dorchester. And sometimes I was forced to stay overnight. So I've had a wonderful life in show business and having adoring fans. So I've been very, very lucky. And
yet, throughout all of this, you have had a wonderful wife who's been with you for 58 years. And we are celebrating your anniversary this week here in Mallorca. 58 years with the same woman, and when you got married it was in secret, wasn't it?
Yes, it was very difficult because if you were a pop star then you couldn't be married. I know it sounds really crazy now, but you could not be married, and you obviously you couldn't be gay either. People like Rock Hudson, who turned out to be gay later on, had to get married to secretaries and things, and us boys couldn't be married. Marty Wilde got married, and it was very difficult for him for some time because he got married. He lost his fan base for a while. So it was very, very, very difficult, you know. What do you do? So I got married secretly, and my wife is Dutch. And she was a famous model.
How did you meet? I mean, not that. How did it all come about with your famous model?
Well, my famous model came about because I
you with Michael Caine?
Well, yeah, I was. Yes, but I was talking about something else then. Now I've gone to the where we met. I shared a flat with Michael Caine and Terry Stamp in Chelsea, and because we were in show business, we could watch these girls that came on television and to the models that advertised different things. Now, in those days, a model was a person that had been ballet trained to walk, trained to speak, acting lessons, elocution lessons. My Renee went to Elmhurst boarding school. Her best friends were Hayley and Juliet Mills, and Johnny Mills, who lived my neighbour in Denham, where all the stars live in Buckinghamshire, also became a great friend of mine later on. So models in those days were trained people, not like today. Anybody could be a model. Anybody, we could walk out here now in the street and pick somebody. You don't even have to be a member of our union, which was Equity in the old days. So anybody can be a model. Now that's fine today, people accept it, that's fine, no training. But the old days I thought were better when you saw these absolutely wonderful, glamorous models. So Michael Caine, Terry Stamp and Jessie in our little flat in Chelsea, and these girls come on advertising different things. And Renee came on advertising Camay soap. And I went, oh good, it's my turn. Because what happened, because we were in showbiz, we chose a model that we liked, and then we would phone up the agency because we knew how to get through. And then we would ask, would Renee Bergman or whoever ring Jess Conrad on such and such a number? And if they didn't, then they didn't. But usually they did, and then we took them out. So it was my turn, and Renee was Miss Camay, and there she was with Camay soap all over her, stepping into the bath, and Terry Stamp said, oh great, he said, it's my turn. I said, no it isn't. No it isn't, it's my turn. A slight argument about whose turn it was, and I won, and it was my turn. And we did go out, and it was rather wonderful because the very next day I was doing a Vespa scooter advert, and Renee turned up. That's how clever she was. I don't know how she found out that I was doing this commercial, but she turned up and was the girl that was on the bike with me. Oh, wow. And she sat on behind me on the thing and I said to her, I'm so sorry, the only thing you can see is my back. And she said, oh, never mind, Jess. She said, your back's better than most men's fronts. So I thought, you'll do for me. So we clicked straight away, and that was it. So the next night we're watching television, and the girl came on, Shakira, advertising Michael Caine. He saw Shakira. I forget what she was advertising.
Coffee.
Coffee, oh yes.
She's the coffee girl.
Correct, coffee. And he did the same thing. He took Shakira out. And later on, when we went to the 50th anniversary of Tramp, the biggest nightclub, the showbiz nightclub in place in the West End, yeah. Tramps. And and he said to me, you know, Jess, he said, we were only supposed to date them. We weren't supposed to marry them. And we always have a laugh about that.
I like
but
that.
As you say, I've been happily married for how many years?
58 last week.
58 years.
Also, I wanted to ask you about you've been to all the celebrity parties, and also your friends are all celebrities. And I think one of your funny stories is about how you tried to become a Bond man. You've got the look, you've got the thing, but what happened when you went to interview, when you went to see
James Bond? Yeah, there was a time when they were looking for James Bond, and I had some publicity photographs done, and I thought I looked rather wonderful. You've probably got one that can show on the show.
We'll show it later.
I did look very Bondish, you know. I could have been nurtured. I'm sure I could have been nurtured. I was with Gareth Hunt, who was a dear friend of mine. He was the star of The Avengers, I think it was called. Yeah. He's no longer with us, but he was a great guy. And we used to talk about show business because that's the business we're in. We don't talk about anything else about ourselves. And show business, a bit of sport, of course. We love football and golf. And I said, you know, all big stars have blue eyes. So he said, what do you mean? I said, well, look at Paul Newman, who was a very big star there. They all have blue eyes. So I said, look, let me look into it. So I did look into it. And I found out that blue eyes, you could get blue eyes, but they were quite expensive to have them. So we agreed that we would buy these eyes. I think they were £100 or £50 each. So we got these eyes, He had the left one and I had the right one. And whenever we had an audition, I'd ring him up and say, would you bring the left mince pie over? Or vice versa. Now, I have to explain to you that although you put them in and you look wonderful, you look like the man from Atlantis, you couldn't see anything because they weren't prescribed. But you look great, but you couldn't see anything. So I had a couple of auditions with different things, and he brought the eye over. And this time I got the Bond audition, and I thought, my God, this is going to be fantastic. So he brought the left eye over, and he said, what you auditioning for, darling? It's not a gay thing, that, but in show business we call one another's darlings. I said, listen, dear, I said, it's just an ordinary advert, ordinary advert for, dance. So I said, I just want to try the eyes. So he gave me the eye. So I couldn't drive to London with the eyes in because I couldn't see anything. So I drove to London, and I went into the James Bond audition, and the casting director, who was thought I'd be great as Bond, and he had a crush on me. He was, gay man, and like most of them, they like Jess, and he put me forward for Bond, and I thank God he did, because I thought this was going to be it, and I was going to meet Chubby Broccoli, or Cubby Broccoli, whatever his name is. So I arrived there, and he went, oh, Jess, he said, I'm glad you've arrived, he said, because he can see you now.
Oh.
So I ran up the stairs, and I ran up the stairs, and I knocked on the door, and there I could imagine Cubby Broccoli behind the door with a big cigar, and he went, come in, and he's there with his big cigar, and I thought, I won't go in now, because running up the stairs, I'm just a little bit out of breath, and Bond wouldn't be out of breath, so I went, this is my big break. Jesse boy, this is my big break. I'm just about to go, and I think, I forgot my eyes. Now remember, Chubby or Cubby, whatever you call him, Broccoli's got the cigar. He's waiting for the door to open and James Bond to walk in. And now I've just remembered that I haven't put my eyes in. So I'm looking for my eyes. I get my eyes out. And I put one eye in, and it falls out and goes on the carpet. So I pick it up and I put it back in, but it's got a bit of carpet in it. So now the tears are in one eye, and I'm fiddling about. Then I finally put the other eye in, and I walk in. Now most people, ordinary people, when they walk into a room, they open the door like that, then they turn their back on the room and close the door. But show business don't do that. You always keep forward. If you see John Wayne, he's always looking forward. He'll walk in the door like that, he'll walk in and then close it behind him like that. So the camera's always there. You're always there. So I walked in, I flicked my cuffs like James Bond does after closing the door, and I looked straight up, I flicked my cuffs and I said, my name's Conrad, Jess Conrad, just like Bond says, my name's Bond, James Bond. I said, my name's Conrad, Jess Conrad, and I gave him the full blast of my wonderful white teeth, and I heard a voice say, I'm over here. He was over there, I couldn't see where he was, you see. So I was looking in completely the wrong direction.
I wanted to ask you about Roger Moore, because that was the nearest you got to being Bond, that you became very close to Roger Moore.
Oh, Roger Moore, what a wonderful man Roger is. Roger, they call him. Oh, the nights I've had with Roger.
Two good-looking men, you must have been unstoppable.
He lived 3 or 4 doors up from, and he had parties. And I would say he would invite me to the parties. What happened was he had it in his contract that no matter what, he didn't have to be at the studio until 9:30. Other people, ordinary stars, not James Bond, had to be in, 7:30, 8 o'clock. So what happened was, because he was a neighbour, our children played with each other. He had, I had 2 girls and he had a boy and a girl. So he would pick them up in the morning and take them to school. And then Renee, my wife, would pick them up at 4 o'clock and bring them home. But he would come every morning and he'd knock on the door and say, "Are the Conrads ready?" You know, with that lovely voice. And he says, "And I suppose your father's still in bed sleeping, unfortunately being out of work." "Oh, you bugger, I thought you. He used to invite me to all kinds of different parties, all the parties.
The table, I've always find that the dinner parties around the table.
Pardon?
The dinner parties around the table.
Yes, that's right. We had these dinner parties, and the one occasion I think you're talking about, we were sitting around the table, and Joan Collins was sitting next to me, and she left a handbag. We were playing easy, definitely. You know, she's quite a sexy lady, as we all know, and she found me attractive. Well, I mean, we knew one another anyway, so it made no difference. But anyway, you know, we were sitting and diddly-dumming and everything. And then she left her handbag behind and said to Louisa, Roger's wife, "Could you ask Jess to bring this round Wednesday?" It had to be Wednesday of the following week. It had to be at a certain time, 11 o'clock. So off I went, you know, with a handbag. Just behind the Dorchester Hotel, the flat was. And I rang the bell and she opened it in a night dress. I thought, odd, 11 o'clock in the morning. You know. And I was invited in, and as they say in show business, the rest is history.
So thank you so much, Jess Conrad, OBE. Thank you so much for all your fantastic conversation, for your insight into an era long gone, and thank you for being in conversation, celebrity, Laura Stadler. Thank you so very much. Take care. See you soon next time you're back.
Thank you, Laura Stadler. You're a wonderful person to work with. You're so giving and so beautiful to look at, and I really enjoyed myself today being here.
Good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Take care and thank you. That's it for today.
Hopes that you're going to. I got my OBE for services to charity, and everybody subconsciously hopes that they're going to get the Queen. But you might get another royal. So you mustn't be disappointed. And I thought that I would get the Queen. I hope that I would get the Queen. My showbiz football team used to play the royal household twice a year. Once at Kensington Palace or once at Windsor. So I knew all the guys there. And when I went for my OBE, I'm walking up the stairs, and all the footmen are still playing football, Jess, you know, and all that kind of thing. So it was like, I was welcomed wonderfully. When I finally got on to receive my OBE, it was a Royal Highness Princess Anne. And she said to me, "I hope you're not disappointed I'm not the Queen." And I said, "No, Mum. As long as you're not disappointed, I'm not George Clooney." And she laughed. Thank God, otherwise I would have been in the Tower of London.
That's fantastic.
But that was my moment. It was really wonderful.
I love that. Thank you, Jess. Excellent.